all when I'm saying it.
So true.
So when it comes to, and this is Elder Marshall's personal twist too, this man loving a woman. For me, when a man loves a woman, he's not going to just talk to her any kind of way that he wants to talk to her. Watch this, and what I'm learning, and my wife is probably at home watching it, or Jayla's back to dancing. Oh Lord, she's back in dance. They're doing their summer session, so she's at dance. And my wife was probably in the car watching. So babe, I'm talking and I'm sharing. So what I'm saying is, even in my speech, I have to understand that it's not always the softest. Any man got that problem? It just sounds like I'm yelling because my voice is big. All right, I told you, sometimes I am yelling. I am yelling. And it's meant to yell. It's meant to yell. But for me, to wrap this thing around, what does it mean to love when a man loves a woman? He has to treat her better than he treats himself. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Watch this. If a man's gonna, if Sean's gonna love Angela, Sean has to love Angela better than Sean loves Sean.
All right.
Elder Tyler, I'm trying to help you because I know you have to love her more than you love you. Now watch this. If for no reason or for no said reason will you go out and start hurting yourself. Let me come back and try that again. I'm not going to go out and purposely hurt myself. If when we get married, it says that we become what? We become one. So if we are one, what I say and what I do is the same that's happening to her. So I can't go into it. I can't be around it and beat up on her and don't think I'm not getting hurt myself. Can I tell a little story? I got time, Bishop. Can I share a story? My sister's here and she's a witness. There was a time in my life when I was younger. I used to love to make myself bleed. Hello? And I don't know, I mean, when I would get bit by a mosquito, I would scratch it until the skin peels off and then it just bleeds. I just sit there and watch it. Huh? Joy, am I telling the truth? Thank you very much. And you can tell the witness because if you look at my legs real close, I got all kind of dog. I think they call it dog days. When dog day come, and they never heal up. It's just big open wounds all on you. So I would, and then when it was healed over, I'll scratch it again because I wanted to see the blood. Huh? But the reason I said that is to say that was me inflicting pain on myself for no reason. I didn't need to do that. Huh? So just because I want to hurt doesn't mean I need to hurt the person that's connected to me is what I'm trying to get you to see in that. When there is some issues, when there is some problems, it'll begin to scab over. That doesn't mean that you go back and scratch it and unsurface it all over again to make it pour back out of the same issue. It says, take your burdens to the Lord and do what? It says, do what with them? He said, leave them there. So why is it that and I've learned this oftentimes in 26 years, 27 years of ministry, that folks, when they come to the altar, don't always leave what it is they're saying they're taking to the altar at the altar. Amen. He said, take it to the Lord and leave it there. But what we want to do is, when nobody's looking, we get to our beat, we beat right back down in our self-sanctified self. We pick up and we put it right back in our problem because we really ain't ready. We really ain't ready to get rid of the issue that's happening. She's good to me. He's good to me. We'll get it together next week. Huh? Because there's a difference between being totally delivered and just divine. I mean, it's a difference between being divinely delivered and just delivered. If I'm divinely delivered, that means I've been touched by the Lord and I ain't gonna have that problem no more in life. Now I can come up and get delivered every Sunday. But if God ain't in it, or if God's not touching me with it, then I'm gonna go back and do the same thing because I keep on doing the same thing week to week. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. I know how to read faces. That somebody said, shh, move on, don't do that. Amen. I'm trying to help you understand what make me understand what it takes for a man to love a woman. For me, for a man to love a woman is Elder Marshall Sean, not even the elder piece of it. Sean has to do better with our communicating. And you know what's happened out of all of this, First Lady? And I praise the Lord and I'm excited about it, is we're communicating. We're doing more talking. But we gotta talk, so she gotta know what I'm going to say. I gotta know what so we gotta talk. It's a strategy. It's a strategy. It's a scheme. It's a scheme. So when God put it in my spirit, I was like, oh yeah, honey, we're gonna teach this together. So now what's happening before we lay down and go to sleep, we have them, well, how was your day? What happened here? Huh? We're helping to understand when a man loves a woman, you have to understand her. Because there's going to be some times when she ain't going to, well, I'm not even going to go there because she told me to stop talking about that. But there's going to be some silent days. Huh? For Elder Marshall, when a man loves a woman, that means I have to take on the responsibility of covering her. And if I'm covering her, Minister Johnson, that means I can't be the one that's hurting her. Did you hear what I said? If I'm her cover, if I'm protecting her, then she shouldn't be ducking from me for me trying to hurt her. She should be able to stay in her place and watch me protect her. Amen. That's Elder Marshall's perspective on it. Let's talk Bible. Let's talk Bible. Let's talk Bible. Let's talk Bible. I told you this week, for the next several weeks, I want to talk about when a man loves a woman, the Jacob and Rachel story. I want to get into the Jacob and Rachel story. Now, if you want to follow, if you want to get it, it's really between the 25th chapter of Genesis to the 29th chapter, what deals with what I've been dealing with for the next several weeks. So I'm summarizing those 4 chapters, but you can go back and read those chapters at your leisure to see what we're talking about. Amen? Amen. Genesis 25 through Genesis 29 was where you'll find the story of Jacob and Rachel. Amen? Amen. Their story is a story of lies, cheating, and deception. Jacob was deceived by his uncle, by her uncle, for the hand of his younger daughter, Rachel. And he had to prove to him how bad he wanted her. Can somebody say 14 years? 14 years. That's just a sneak peek. We're not there yet. Huh? Have you ever been asked the question, what are you willing to do to earn what you are seeking after or desire? Is she worth the work? Is she worth the wait to get her to be with you? To the female, is he going to prove himself enough to even earn my attention, let alone my heart? Is he worth my attention? Is he worth my time? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give in order to get what it is you want? For the next couple of weeks, we will walk through this story to show and prove once again that what it looks like when a man loves a woman. Abraham died. His son Isaac lived in the land of Canaan. Like his father, Isaac had his home in a tent. Around him were tents of his people, and many flocks of sheep and herds of cattle feeding wherever they could find grass to eat and water to drink. Isaac and his wife Rebekah had 2 children, a set of twins. The oldest name was Esau. The youngest son's name was Jacob. Esau was a man of the woods and very fond of hunting, and he was rough and covered with hair. Jacob was quiet, thoughtful, staying around the home, dwelling in the tent and caring for the flock of his father. Now here's the issue. Brother King, here's an issue, and we do this ourselves today. It says Isaac loved Esau more than he loved Jacob. Because Esau brought to his father that which he had killed by his hunting and fed him those type of foods. But Rachel, the mom, liked Jacob because she saw that he was wise and careful in his work. I'm going to put a pin right here and slow down just for that motion. In this story, it teaches us a lesson that when we are parenting, we cannot always show favoritism to our children. Amen. You can't do that because when you think they're not watching, they are watching. And then it becomes a feud between the siblings that you don't even know is established or going on. My mother, we were raised, well, in my house, with my siblings, I'm the only boy, it's 5 girls, 6 of us, 5 girls, and I'm the only boy. So I would always tell everybody I was my mom's favorite son.
I am too.
I always told my mom, I told everybody, I'm her favorite. I'm her favorite son. And everybody be like, duh, you're only, well, I mean, she can't have a favorite. The other benefit that I learned from being the only son is that I didn't get hand-me-downs. So Joy is the oldest sister, and my baby sister is Michelle. So whatever Joy wore, it got down to Michelle at some point. Because mommy's thought was, it's still good. Now she did try to put me on something like a coat or something. Y'all so tight, y'all so tight. So Bishop, I know you know how I feel. I was her favorite. But my mother never showed favoritism with nobody. She treated us all the same. If she couldn't do for one, she wouldn't do for none. Huh? And then she would always tell us, you're not going to get something. You can't have this and you can't have that. But before you know it, she's giving it for us. She's getting it for us. She was full of surprises. She always would get whatever we'd ask for. We wouldn't get it that day, but she would eventually get it. Huh? So you can't do that. And that's what the issue was with Esau and Jacob. as we further walk through the story, is that Jacob and Esau had problems with each other because they felt the tension of their parents.
Right. Understand.
Daddy paid more attention to Esau because he was grooming him to be. Yeah, I know that's right, Paul. I understand. And Mama was always leaning towards Jacob because he was the one that was around the house, intending to the home front. Amen? Among the people on these lands, when a man dies, his oldest son received twice as much as the younger of the sons of what the father owned. This was called the birthrights. For it was his right as the oldest, it was his rights as the oldest born. So Esau, as the oldest, had birthrights to more of Isaac's possession than Jacob, by the order that it had already been set up. Esau automatically was to receive the birthrights of their dad. And besides this, there was no privileges of the promise. This was the privilege of the promise of God that the family of Isaac should receive great blessings. Because you know who was Isaac's father? Amen. Somebody was reading the story. Yeah, Isaac is the son of Abraham, and Abraham was made promises by God that was poured off to his offsprings. So because of what was told to Abraham, with Isaac being his son, now he's doing the same thing with giving the birthrights to his sons. Amen? Questions, comments as we go any farther, before we go any farther? Really? Amen. Questions, comments? Nobody have any questions to this point of who Esau, who Jacob was, who Rachel was? I mean, not Rachel, Rebecca, the mom. We all on the same page? We traveling together? Then let me hear walk it out, elder. Walk it out. Well, I'm going to.
Go ahead.
The sale of birthrights. It says, now Esau, when he grew up, now watch this. He did not care about his birthright. Or he didn't care about the blessing which God had promised. But Jacob, who was the wiser of the two, wished greatly to receive the birthright which would come to Esau when his father died. So in other words, what happened here is Esau is so mindful and so worried about what's going on out there, he don't really care about the blessings. He ain't really worried about that. In other words, he don't want it, Kingsley. I see your eye. I see you looking like, what do you mean? He don't want it. He don't want it. He don't want nothing to do with it. But for Jacob, Jacob's like, I want it. Huh? Oh, did I tell you that Jacob's name means trickster? Oh, I'm sorry. I need to let you know that because that's going to go with some word and stuff that's going to happen. Somebody say he's a trickster.
He's a trickster.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're going to see something here in just a minute. We're going to see. Somebody say walk it out. We're going to walk it.
Walk it out.
But Jacob, who was a wise man, wished greatly to have the birthright, which would come to Esau when his father died. Once, now watch this. Here it is. I just told you he was a trickster. He was tricky. He was tricky. When Esau arrived home one time, it said he was hungry and tired from hunting in the field. He saw that Jacob had made a bowl of soup. Had made some soup. And had it prepared for dinner. Esau says, give me some of that red stuff in the dish. Will you not give me some? Because I am hungry. Jacob answered, now watch this. Jacob answers and he says, I will give it to you if you will first of all sell to me your birthright. What's his nickname? Or what's his name mean? Trickster. Tricky. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, he's taking advantage of him because he's hungry. He said, well, the only way you're going to get this food is if you give me what you got that I want. Huh? So he said, I will give it to you if you will first of all sell me your birthrights. Watch this. Now watch what Esau says. Esau says, well, what use is the birthright? What use is the birthrights to me right now if I'm about to die from hunger? So give me the food and you can have whatever it is you want. I'm hungry. Minister, I see your hand. What you got?
Yeah, isn't it amazing how they was inspired to name those children that? Jacob, whose name was Trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Esau, Hunter. And they both became just that.
Well, see in the Bible days, they named kids for a reason.
God.
They didn't do the Sineads and the Tuquetas and the Beyonces and the, all these long names. The names had a meaning. So he tricked him, Sister Teresa. He tricked him into giving him his birthrights for some food. Because he said, you hungry? Give me your birthrights. Esau looking at it like, well, it ain't nothing that important to me. Well, it ain't nothing but a piece of, it ain't nothing. You can have it. Just give me some food. So at this point, Esau has now traded off his birthrights to his younger brother. So now, Jacob has the rights to his father's possessions when he died. Remember that part. Somebody say, I need to remember that. I need to remember that and say, continue to walk it, elder. Continue to walk it. Then it says, then Esau made Jacob a solemn promise to give him his birthrights for a bowl of food. Now watch this. It was not right for Jacob to deal so selfishly with his brother, but it was very wrong in Esau to care so little for what was given to him, or what was supposed to be given to him in God's blessings. Somebody say, put a pin right there, because that's what I'm going to do. That's just like us. God has promised us some things. God has given us some visions. God has showed us some things. But instead of waiting on what God... Okay, I told you I ate my Wheaties and my Cheerios, whatever. So again, that's me. I don't know how. I don't want to wait. Huh? I didn't want to wait. Huh? Huh? Give it to me now. I'm with that microwave. And you know what the microwave area is. I want it right now. I want to cook for 20 minutes. Put it in my microwave for 2 minutes and let me go in and start eating it. Huh? So we step ahead of God and move out of the blessing that's supposed to be coming our way because we don't know how to wait or appreciate. Now that's the real piece of it, Bishop. We don't know how to appreciate what God has had for us. I know you say, well, what do you mean? How am I going to appreciate what God has for me if I don't know what it is God has for me? The point that I'm making with that is, it doesn't matter what I don't have to know what it is. Just the fact that I know that God has.
Come on. You got it.
Joy, it doesn't matter. What I'm simply trying to say in that is the fact that God has it. It doesn't matter what it is. The fact that God has it is what I'm excited about and what I'm going to work toward to get. So Esau gives his brother, he gives his brother his blessing for a bowl of soup. Now watch this, it goes on. It says, sometime after this, when Esau was 40 years old, he married 2 women. Can I put a pin right there again? I need to make a note. When a man loves a woman, he needs to understand you can only do one.
All right. All right.
You can only have one. Unless you got a whole lot of, you got deep pockets. I can't afford but one. Personally, I can't afford but one. So yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, that's the issue. One. I see y'all eyes. Y'all know I'm crazy. Leave me alone. I'm trying to teach this lesson. Trying to teach you tonight. He said he married 2 wives. Now watch this. Though this would be very wicked in our times, here it is. It was not supposed to be wrong then. But even good men then had more than one wife. But Esau's 2 wives were women from the people of Canaan who worshipped idols and not the true God. And they taught their children also to pray to these idols, so that those who came from Esau, the people who were with his descendants, lost all knowledge of God and became very wicked. But this was long after that time. Another thing I meant to share with you when I was talking about the beginning, when it said that when Esau and Jacob were in their mother's womb, that they were always fighting, struggling against each other. Even to the point that when Esau was born, what happened? I'm going to tell you, you didn't know. What happened was, when Esau was born, it says that Jacob reached up and grabbed the heel of his foot, trying to pull him back in so he can go out first. Huh? So that's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to make. They've always fought against each other. They always were fighting. They were always doing these things because they always felt they had a problem with each other. I'm gonna pull him by his heel, huh? So then what that really showed was that in her belly was the dividing of 2 nations. Because what you're going to find out is that Esau has now started from his set of people a wicked nation. They've turned against God. They've turned to the idols that they were worshiping. Huh? And then look what it says. Isaac and Rebekah were very sorry to have their son Esau marry these women who prayed to idols and not to God. But watch this. It says, but Isaac still loved Esau. Which goes to say that it doesn't matter what you do in life. It doesn't matter how you may stumble and dirty yourself up. That God's going to always still love you.
Amen.
Thank God for that.
Huh?
Thank you, Jesus. Yes, sir.
Because these Bible stories are really stories that really supposed to hit us home so we can understand what we're going through. Huh? So we got to get up and dust ourselves off. Huh? Because even though they may not approve, they may not understand, God understands, and he still loves you, Kinsley. He still loves you. Marshawn, he still loves you. He still loves you. In spite of God, you need to know that God still loves you. It says, even though their child, who they were trained up to love God and to worship God, has now married some women that turned their children into idol worshipers. It says that that Isaac still loved Esau because he was his active son. And then it says that Rebekah still loved Jacob because he was the quiet son, the one who was at home. Story goes on and it says, Isaac became at last very old and feeble and so blind that he could barely see. or scarcely see anything. One day he said to Esau, "My son, I am very old and do not know how soon I must die. But before I die, I wish to give you, as my older son, God's blessing upon you and your children and your descendants. Go into the fields and with your bow and arrows shoot some animal that is good food, and make me a dish of cooked meats such as you know I love, and after I have eaten, I will give you the blessing." Now Esau ought to have, now it's, what I looked at, I wrote down in my notes, is that Esau should have told his dad at that point that he don't have the rights to the blessings no more, that he gave to his brother. He should have told his dad right then, "Well, Dad, I don't have those rights," but he had to follow through because that's what the procedure is, that's what the law is, and that was what they would do, is follow the father's instruction. But he did not tell his father. He went out to the field hunting to find the kind of meat which his father liked the most. Somebody say, but then there was Rebecca. Rebecca was the one that loved who? Rebecca loved Jacob. So what she did was, I'm about to get, because she didn't even know that the rights were sold. So she said, I'm about to get my son, my favorite son, the blessing. I'm about to give my son the blessing. You want to know how she did it? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Watch this. It says, Rebecca was listening and heard all that Isaac said to Esau. She knew that it would be better for Jacob to have the blessing than for Esau, because remember, Jacob wanted the blessing because he knew what it meant, and he would appreciate it more. So she wanted him to have it because he would appreciate it the way it's supposed to be received. Esau really didn't care. He didn't want it. He didn't know what it was, because he was never home. He was always out in the field. So it was no big thing to him. So it says she loved Jacob so much more than Esau that she called Jacob and told him what Isaac had said to Esau. And she said to him, now my son, do what I tell you, and you will get the blessing instead of your brother. Go to the flocks, bring to me 2 kids from the goats, and I will cook them just like your father likes them. And he will think it was Esau that cooked it, and I will bring it to you will bring it to your father. Trickery, here's the tricking. Make him think it was Esau who was given to him. Now remember, at this time, Esau's going half blind. He can't really see. Huh? And that's what y'all think God's doing sometimes, that he's half blind and can't see what we're doing. They don't. Hallelujah. And it says, so she told him to go get the kids, the goats. We're going to cook them like meat, which like his father liked it, and you bring it to your father, and he will think that you're Esau, and will give you the blessing, and it really belongs to you. Because the mom, she thinks that Jacob needs to get it more than Esau. But what she don't already know, again, is what? He already has it. Because he traded his brother for a bowl of soup. It says, okay, so, but Jacob said, you know that Esau and I are not alike. Here's Jacob thinking. His neck and his arms are covered with hair, while mine are smooth. My father will feel of me, and he will find out that I am not Esau. And then instead of giving me a blessing, I'm afraid that he's going to curse me. Rebecca tells him at that time, don't worry, son, never mind. You do as I've told you, and I will take care of you. If any harm comes, it will come to me. So do not be afraid, but go and bring the meat. Jacob then goes out and brings a pair of little kids, kids from out the flock. And from them his mother made a dish of food, so that it would be to the taste just as Isaac liked it. Then Rebekah found some of Esau's clothes and dressed Jacob in them. Here it is again. What is his name? Trickery. Huh? She dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes. And she placed on his neck and in his hand some of the skin from the kids, which is the goats, that she killed to make the food. So the fur from the baby goats, she put on his arm and around his neck, because why? I just told you that Esau was hairy. So when Isaac would reach up to try to touch, to make sure he was talking to the right son, he would feel, okay. So that his neck and hands would feel rough and hairy to the touch. Story goes on. Jacob came into the father's tent, bringing him the dinner, and speaking as much as he could to sound like Esau. And he said to him, "Here I am, my father." And Esau said, "Who are you, my son?" Jacob answered, "I am Esau, your oldest son. I have done as you have bid me. Now sit up and eat the dinner that I have made for you, and then you have promised that you would give me the blessing that is supposed to come to me." Isaac said, "How is it that you found it so quickly?" Jacob answers and he says, "Because the Lord your God showed me where to go and gave me good success." Trickery. I told you the story is about lies, cheating, and deception. I told you at the beginning we gonna see all of that. And y'all think all these shows they show on TV, like Scandals and the Empires and what's the one coming on tonight?
Old Dynasty.
Yeah, well, those soap operas. Y'all thought that stuff was drama. If y'all really want to read about, y'all really want to get some drama, get in this Bible.
Amen.
You can find everything you need right there in the Bible. And it'd be just as exciting as you are sitting there watching it on TV. The have and have-nots. That's the one that comes on tonight. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. So it says, because the Lord sent me to where they were, and he gave me good success. Isaac said, "Come close to me. Come a little closer." Esau, come a little closer. Come closer to me so I can feel your arm and make sure that you are my son. He said, "Let me feel you so that I may know that you are really my son Esau." Jacob comes closer to him, to the side of Isaac's bed, and Isaac fell on his face and on his neck and on his hands, and he said, "Your voice sounds like Jacob, but your hands are the hands of Esau." And he still ain't sure. He said, "Are you really my son Esau?" Jacob looked at his dad, told a bold-faced lie, and said, "I am Esau, your oldest son." Then his dad ate his food, and as promised, he told Jacob to come close to the bed again, and he kissed him, believing that it was Esau, and he gave him the blessing, saying unto him, "May God give you the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. May nations bow down to you, and people begin to become your servants. May you be the master over your brother, and may your family and descendants, they shall come from you, rule over your family and all their descendants. Blessed be those that bless you, and cursed be those that curse you. As soon as Isaac made this declaration to Jacob, who he thought was Esau, Jacob immediately runs out of the tent to get away from his dad, because to him, his dad is now giving him what he was wanting in the first place, which is the rights. No sooner than he left out, here comes who? Esau. Exactly. Esau now enters the tent. There's the same thing. He said, Father, I am here to bring you the dinner of which you have told me, your favorite foods. And I am ready to receive that which you want to bless me with. Father looks up and he sits up and he looks and he says, well, who are you? Esau says, I am your son, your oldest son, Esau. He said, you sound like Esau, but I just blessed you a second ago, or, I'm paraphrasing. I just blessed you. You just left. Isaac trembled and said, who then is the one that came and brought me food? I have eaten his food and have given him the blessings. And yes, he shall be blessed. When Esau heard this, he knew that he had been cheated. And he cried aloud with a bitter cry, oh, my father, my brother has taken away my blessing, just as you took away my birthright, because you took him for that too. But cannot you give me another blessing too? Have you given everything to my brother? Isaac told him all that he had to say to Jacob, making him the ruler over his brother. But Esau begged for another blessing, and Isaac said, my son, your dwelling shall be of the rich of the earth and the dew of heaven. You shall live by your sword, and your descendants shall serve his descendant. But in time to come, they shall break loose and shall shake off the yoke of your brother's rule, and you shall be free. I'm going to stop right here because I don't want to go into the next part, which goes more into how he got to Rachel. So we'll stop at this point this week to where Jacob receives the birthright and the blessing from his dad. Amen? Amen. Questions, comments, concerns, share moments. So I explained that good. Everybody knows. I know it's a familiar story. It wasn't hard to follow, but it had to be something that was like, wait a minute, I didn't see that. I didn't hear that. Do you see the correlation where I'm trying to go to with when a man loves a woman? You see how that's going to correlate in a minute now? I had to give you his background.